I'm looking at you guys, but you're crooked. I can tell because my camera's like this. Okay, my camera's crooked. It's really bothering me. Cheers everybody, it is Wednesday, December 2nd. It's my brother's birthday. Bonne fête, Alain. Je t'appelle ce soir. I don't think he watches my vlogs. I'm not sure. It's a very gray day over Montreal. It's not sewing, it's sewing. It's not sewing, it's actually knitting outside. It is raining. Yes, it's +5 Celsius. I don't have a lot of things to tell you today, but I do have a few things to show you. What I thought I was going to do is just do a show and tell of my NaNoJouMo pages that I've done. I've done 19 out of 30. I couldn't complete everything. So I'm just going to quickly show you that. I guess I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to... Oh yeah, the camera's right here. Right here. Oh, you can see it. Oh, darn. Sorry about that. I'll fix that. Alright, so I'm just going to show you them really quickly. I'm not going to give you any details. If you want to see how I have made a particular page, you can just click on the playlist that's going to pop up on the screen right now, and you can see them all there. So this was day 1. That's probably one of my favorites. This was day 2. Day 3, very shiny, very reflective. November 4th. Very textured. This was day 5 and it didn't look like this in the video. I actually finished it on November 18th. So here is kind of like something that you haven't seen. I've added details with metallic gel pens. I have silver and gold, and I've also added details here on the rocks, and I have added a little guy with the mother, and it's not a guy, it's actually me. And this is a true story. This is actually me and my mother when I was 5 years old. She took me downtown Montreal. We used to live in the more like in the countryside back then, and I remember riding a bus and she showed me Place Ville Marie, which was under construction at the time, and it was, I remember her saying it was the tallest building, and I looked up and I told her, one day I'm gonna work here, and I actually did. So the quote says, the child said, Mama, one day I will work in that building that reaches the sky, because I could not see the top of the building. I was looking through a window of a bus, and to me it was like the most awesome thing that I've ever seen. And then here I said, and she did, and that's a true story. But I quite like the way it turned out. It's very kind of like urban sketching. I'm actually very proud of the 2 characters that I drew there, because I've never drawn like a full-size character, and I meant it to be like very loose, and that was fun. This is day 6. Not my favorite, but I mean, it's still fun. I tried a whole bunch of different things. This was a total experiment for me, and that's what I came away with. This whole challenge is that A, I don't work fast, and B, I used it to experiment different things. So they're not all my favorite projects, but still, I'm very proud that I did it. This is November 7th. Super shiny. This was done with twinkling H2Os and some resist technique with wax crayons. This was day 8. Very quick collaged flowers. Shiny iridescent medium. This is day 9 and probably one of my absolute favorites, just well, for 2 reasons. It's a cityscape, and I just love how these colors looked in my Black Illusions journal. The progression of a color from black to white, because in certain areas I have put down white gesso. I wanted to see how it would react, and I just, yeah, that came about very organically, and it was fun to do. So between November 9th and November 14th, I had a computer crash, so I had to take care of that. I couldn't edit all my videos on time, even though I had kind of like an old backup computer. So when I got back on my feet, Friday the 13th of November, there was a tragic moment in history for Paris and for all the world for that matter, and so I kind of jumped ahead and I edited that video before I edited the other ones, but this was my homage to Paris. And I'm not going to talk about what happened because we all know, and I don't want to get back on that. But I like the quote. I said, if power is what you're after, violence will not get you there. Love will. So it says it all. This is day 10, so we're back before the Friday the 13th. This was a almost total case of a work that Dina Wakley did on one of the books that I had. I was completely out of inspiration, and that's what worked for me on that day. So I kind of put my own little spin on it, but not much. So if this looks familiar, yes, it really is totally a Dina Wakley inspired page. This, I'll talk about this in a second. This was day 11, November 11th. Not my favorite. Something's wrong about the colors. I don't like it all that much, but I was working on a background that was already there. And of course, you know, when you do everything within 15 minutes, I'm not even sure that I finished on time for this one. I think I ended up adding a few details afterwards, but 15 minutes was getting to me at that point. So, yeah, anyways, it's that. So the story, try not to laugh too much, but the story about this is that this was a piece of under paper. That thing was not there, and for some reason I was seeing in the design someone sitting on some kind of a wood, what do you call it? You know, when they chop down a tree, a wood stump. So, and then I was seeing a campfire. So that was my interpretation of it. I did that with the Stabilo pencil and my watercolor brush, and anyways, it turned out that way. I did not show the process, and I did not show this. This is the first time I'm showing you this. This page had a lot of thumbs down for this one, understandably so. I understand. I did my best, guys. This was funny because it was the day that I fought with a sewing thread, trying to incorporate it around the flowers. And yes, they are hanging. They're upside down. They should be this way. Anyways, it's just, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so this is day 13. Yes, and this is another bit of under paper. And I was seeing stuff in it, and that's in the Black Delusions journal, quite like that one. Page on the right I haven't showed you, but I did that on November 8th. But yeah, it was just done as a side. I don't show everything that I make, but it didn't make it into a process video. It was just, you know, trees and experimenting with the twinkling H2Os on black paper, the interference twinkling H2Os. So now we're jumping to November 23rd. I titled it Day 15, but it was done on November 23rd, and it was just using the Elegant Writer. This is my art journal, my watercolor journal. This one was on November 24th. That was fun. That was finger painting. And then I used the stencil by Patty Tolly Parrish for a vase. Everybody thought that this was a building. They thought I was going to go into my cityscapes, and I would have normally, but I forced myself to use it in a different way. This is November 28th, and I did collage with Japanese papers, and underneath there's dictionary paper. I had an extra page, and I kind of glued it down on the left hand page because while I was gluing it, a lot of things were happening, and then I didn't glue it properly, and I started ripping the parts that are not glued down perfectly, like what I'm doing right now. I do that sometimes, and it creates nice texture, so I'm going to do something on that page eventually. November 29th, this is my page inspired by Paul Gauguin. That was fun to make. I had a lot of fun with that one. So this is the last one, was 2 days ago, and I did that in my watercolor journal, and it was a do-over, a page, and I used my Gansai Tambi watercolor set to do that. And that is it. I had fun. Some days it was a huge challenge. I have to say that I'm not a 15 minutes person. I'm very slow when I create, and that I knew, but I thought I could pull it off, and most days I did. But towards the end it was quite difficult, so I kind of went over the limit, which defeats the purpose. So anyways, but I'm glad I did it, you know, because you have to do those things once in a while just to figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. All right, so in other news, before I forget, Andriana, the person who sent me that wonderful Shanghai postcard that I showed last week, Andriana, if you're watching this, I don't have a return address on your card, so if you want to receive something from me, just private message me with your address. And if you choose not to share your mailing address, that's perfectly fine too. I have completed my medieval Christmas painting. So while I'm talking to you, I'm going to show you how it looks. I've added a few details, mainly like snowballs and wreaths and mistletoe on some of the buildings, a little bit of gold detailing, but I'm still looking for words to put on the major flag. Now, one of my patrons suggested Merry and Bright, which I absolutely love because it kind of gives me that feel of old world kind of thing. But it doesn't really fit because if you notice, the flag has a very small part on the left and a bigger part on the right, and it doesn't look good. Like it's a very small portion on the left, so I need more suggestions. So if you have any idea on how to handle that, just let me know. Leave me your suggestions in the comments so that I can finally put a title to this thing and then paint the borders and be done with it so I can hang it up because it's Christmas soon. Wow, that kind of crept up on me, Christmas. I had no idea we had a Christmas this year again because it doesn't come every year. I've also added some stuff to my bulletin board. I love looking at it. It makes me dream of different places I can go visit, and I also like to look at the different artwork that people send me. Because they're not my own, they're all different, and I don't know, it just adds interest to my room, I find. So I look at it often, and I thank you for sending me stuff like that. I love it. This morning I also released my first ever Patreon exclusive sketch of the month. Here it is. I can't show you the whole thing because it's exclusive to patrons, but I can show you little snippets. But I have sketched my own font, and I did not use a die, a photo, nothing. This was like straight out of my head, and I have to say that I impressed the heck out of myself. So I love the font. I didn't set out to do that, and this is way more detailed than I would have wanted. It's not symmetrical, but I tried my best. But I love the font, so I wonder if designing a font is easy or difficult. I'm assuming it might be a difficult task, but I kind of like it. Anyways, that's something for later. I don't have time for now. But the last thing I want to share with you is this. The Canson Mixed Media Artboards. These are amazing. I bought this format. This one is 12 by 16, and it's quite thick, but not as thick as Ken Oliver's mixed media board or something. I can't remember what he calls it. I'm pretty sure I had kept the the banner, but I didn't. But anyways, the one thing that I noticed the difference between the two of them, because I've been swatching. This is the artboard, and I was able to flatten it out quite a lot, and it's not as thick, which is good because this one is super warped, and I cut it down because it was a 12 by 12 piece. It actually separates when you cut it down and you add water to it, and there's like a ripple here. It's called, here, I'll show it to you again. It's called Plein Air Canson Mixed Media Artboards. And like I said, there are different formats. There was a smaller size and a smaller size. If you can get your hands on that, because this is for watercolor paint, what did they say? Textured, excellent, erasability, acrylic, watercolor, pen and pencil. And so what I'm thinking is all my Patreon artwork I'm going to do on that, because first of all, it's thin enough to ship, and I'm not restricted to just what a canvas would do. I can do watercolor, I can draw on this, and easily ship it in the mail, because every month my patrons, or some of my patrons, can win the original artwork. So I found a solution. I'm very happy. And I've been testing it out with the powders, with Ken Oliver powders, as well as Nuance powders. And I've been having fun with that. That's what I like. It's very shiny. Okay, so it's close to 3 o'clock. I gotta go. That's about all the news that I had for you. Before I go, however, I just want to tell you that a few of you said that they wouldn't mind getting a video per day from me. That's not gonna happen, because that would be so boring for you guys. But no matter what you say. But it's also a lot of hard work. I did it in November because of the challenge, but that's not going to happen regularly. I'm not going to do Vlogmas like a lot of YouTubers do, because I want to keep this strictly for it's an art channel, and that's how it's going to be. I don't mind doing vlogs, but they will always be focused on art, unless I have something very interesting to tell you about my personal life. But yeah, that also is not going to happen soon. But I had a talk with my partnership manager last week at YouTube, and she encouraged me to do videos 3 times a week, and she actually convinced me. So I will be uploading every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Wednesday is going to be an art vlog just like today, and Monday and Fridays are going to be like an art project or something like that, or a studio tour, or you know what I mean. So that's it. As usual, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps. And if you haven't subscribed already, you can hit the subscribe button. If you have, any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you later. Bye!